Yes, I'm sure you're on the road. I go nowhere high, go nowhere warm, until you're by my side, your hand in mine. And I've always known you're like a feather. You go where wind and fire melt together. But I'm sure you're on your way home. Yes, I'm sure you're on the But I'm sure you're on your way. Yes, I know you're on the road. And I'm sure you're faster than before. Yes, I know you're somewhere on the road. And I reckon there is nothing more to say.
Okay, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Trying to make sure that this is perfect. Okay, there's a little bit of delay, but I had to figure that out, so we got that fixed. So cool. I was just double checking. Okay, sorry about that. This closed up. Okay. So chilly day here today on the mountain. Actually, we'll peek up here at the temperature in just a second, but whew, it is currently outside. It is currently 16 degrees, or that's about -8. But yeah, no worries. So bunnies eating some stuff, playing around the yard. So let me grab my water so we can continue on with what we need to do, and I can finish up on my chores. And travel on. Whew. Really, it's a lot chillier. Haven't really done too much adventuring outside today, so didn't realize how absolutely chilly it really is out. Not that I'm complaining. I like cold. I like double and single digits. It makes things very interesting, to say the least. Okay, so got my water, and we're good to go. So doing something a little different today. I got a different headset on than I did yesterday. We will have to address the gimbal. I can see that the gimbal's not quite exactly balanced. So as soon as I get over here, we will balance it off. So we got roughly last night, I estimated we got about 3 inches of snow. So not bad. Nothing to really complain about. Actually a good amount of snow. So actually I'm going to put this gimbal over here. I'm going to go grab the feed in the building. And then we will, so because we've had problems with the internet acting up over here. Whoa, gimbal. I'm going to readdress. I'm probably not gonna. We're gonna do very little in the bunny barn today, just so we don't have the same issues with the internet cutting out. So I'm gonna put you guys right here for just a second. Let you guys gonna go up. So I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna get Sylvia's feed and some bunny feed, and then I will be right back out. But you should still be able to hear me. I don't think this goes too far away. It might break up while I'm inside for just a second. But this seems to be the easiest way to do this. Get some good to go. So bucket of for everyone there, and some feed for the bunnies. I mean the feed for the bunnies and some feed for Sylvia. So that's where we're at. So okay. Got that in place. We are good to go. Okay, I think that'll help. That'll help with the balance a little bit better. Okay, now we're heading back to feed the bunnies. So, whew, wonderful chilly day. 3 inches of snow. Beautiful. Low teens outside. Just I don't know, great winter day. A little chilly, you know. It's the downfall to doing this is it's a little colder outside than we normally like, and it's harder to get stuff done. But that being said, you know, so it's a little cold. Doesn't really make that much of a difference. So let me spin the camera back around. You guys can see I actually need to get one thing, so I'm gonna run over into the barn. I don't have my pitcher here. That makes it harder to deal with giving everybody water, especially when it's cold. So let me go grab my pitcher. voila, the picture. So we're good to go. So let's get these guys water. Hello, friend. Thanks for the treats earlier. On this wonderful chilly day at the end of January. So this time of year here in Flat Top, we're in the weeks. We're in the weeks that are usually the coldest. So starting late January to early February are the coldest times of year here in Flat Top. So it's not always the snowiest, but it is definitely always the coldest. So over the 17 years I've been keeping records, all of the record cold days fall within like a 3-week period. So, and we are in that 3-week period. So far this year, the coldest we've seen is -2 Fahrenheit. So I'm not sure if we'll see anything colder than that. I've been thinking about it and looking at weather patterns and seeing what I think, what's happening. But we've had a long stretch, a nice long stretch of days that are just absolutely frigid. So, in the past, I've noticed years that we've had long frigid days, for multiple days in a row. We don't seem to have, they don't seem to have the extreme colds. What I notice, and this is just observation of the last 17 years, what I've noticed is when we have high spikes up, when we have really big temperature swaps, that's when we usually get the coldest. The extreme coldest days is when they come about. So, and that's not what we're seeing this year. So, okay, so again, guys, I think I showed you this before. This is why I don't suggest using Tupperware or plastic for your waterers. It's why I like, why I was trying to switch over to the squishy cups or the stuff like that, which I have one in here, so I need to grab it for this guy. There it is. Because what's nice with this is, again, I can squish this, so I can put some water in this for this guy and squish it up. And if it freezes solid before he drinks it all, I can just break that off and we are good to go. The problem with bumped the mic there as I was going into the cage. But as with the other guy, as with this, it is too cold outside now. Like, there's nothing I'm really going to be able to do with this. It's just kind of a hockey stick, a hockey puck now that I'm kind of just stuck with for until it starts thawing out a little bit. So, because if I smash or do anything crazy with that, I run the risk of breaking that plastic. So that's why the Tupperware and such like that is why I usually frown upon using as a waterer in the winter months. And you guys got to see firsthand why I'm not. That doesn't always happen. I made the mistake yesterday. I don't know why I filled it up with water yesterday. I don't know what I was thinking. I probably wasn't. I was just, an autopilot, doing the autopilot thing, and that's what happened. Because let me show you with this. So here's a rubber one, so you guys can see, nice and frozen. But what's nice about this is you can do this, and then I'll step over this way so you guys can see. Then what you can do is you take this, and you can pop it on the ground, and you step on it, and if not everything comes out, you can beat it on a stick, and voila, ice free. But as I said before, those rubber things can be a little hard to come by or a little pricey depending on what you're looking for. And so that's why we were looking for smaller silicone ones. Oh, fail. Not only did I spill the water, I spilled it on my foot. So, good to go in there. So, continue on, get these guys some food. Okay. Hungry bunnies. Whew. One more out here. So, just a typical, some of you like know what I do throughout the course of the day, just a typical slower Saturday. Ooh, this door is jammed in there really well, probably because I kicked it yesterday. There we go. Unjammed. So again, like I said, frozen. Squish it up. Toss it on the ground. Smash it a bit. Beat it on a stick. Ice free. Great. Just perfect. Exactly what I wanted to do. So. Sorry, got too close to the cage again and ruffled it up. You know, that's what happens. Okay, let me get this cage closed. Perfect. And good to go today for getting the bunnies outside. Give them a little bit of food right here. And my lid. And let's head on over to... We're going to head on over into the handy run. Is next on our list for wonderful chores to do today. So in the future, guys, if you guys are, or even today, if you guys have any questions about winterizing bunnies, raising stuff in the winter, doing all this kind of fun stuff, I'm always welcome to ask away. I'll answer the questions the best I can. Been doing this, some of you might wonder how long I've been raising animals. I don't even remember now. I've been doing it here for 9 years maybe, and then I raised chickens for a few years when I lived in the suburbs way many years ago. So have to get this cleaned out so I can get my foot in here so I can sneak on in here. Okay, cool. You guys get to hang out here for just a second and see all the cool stuff that's going on. Let me get some water for these guys. So I told you guys it's really cold outside. You guys have known. It's about, what do we say outside? It's about 14. It is 33 in here. So you can see that the greenhouse plastic really does make enough of a difference to be able to mean that it's easier so the water doesn't freeze and such in here. So it's a lesson that we learned. It's something that we will be continuing on in the future with future plans and future ideas, is to make sure that we have the greenhouse, when we build future stuff, the greenhouse plastic is something that I will be using from this point forward, and kind of this design that we have, I think works really good. So okay, so I need to come over here. Watch out, guys. Get your food bucket that you guys have hidden under here. Okay. My scoopers, I left my scooper outside, so we're just gonna have to do it this way, which is fine. It's a crazy mess, but it'll work. Okay. So a crazy chaotic mess, but we okay. Good to go. Now we're gonna head on into the main barn. Where we're gonna get everything else done. And then in there, because we can get more into in-depth subjects. So one of the things I want to say to you guys is, it's starting to get time of year that you should start really thinking about stuff that you want to start growing in the spring. So some stuff you can actually already start. So if you have things like garlic, and a few other things, it's probably a good time of year to think about starting that garlic, and think about starting some of the other projects and such. Certain types of seeds, especially wet seeds that don't mind early spring, cold weather seeds, such like that. It's time to start in your house. If you're thinking about doing aquaponic, hydroponic. As long as your house stays warm, it's a good time of year to start thinking about stuff like that. Hey, there's my gloves I was looking for earlier today. Hi ducks, hi everyone. So let me get the camera set up and ready to go. We can talk, and you guys can watch me do my crazy chores. It's also the time of year to start ordering seeds, because sometimes seeds can be hard. Sometimes seeds can be hard to come by. They can be hard to find certain times of year. And so the earlier in the year you can start ordering some of your seeds, getting out, and then you can also start planning, because you can start figuring out what you want to raise and what seeds are available. And if the seeds are available for you to do what you want to do, you can start figuring out, like, okay, am I going to need to increase the size of my garden? And am I going to need to make different life decisions and different life choices? Like, am I going to lower my lawn at all? And all that stuff. I forgot the bring. Forgot a knife again today. I don't think I'm going to get lucky with the string. Nah, it didn't look like it. I didn't think so. Maybe I'll get lucky with it on this side. The bag ripped yesterday, and I was supposed to bring a knife, and I put the knife in my pocket, and probably understands, to safe guess, that I took it out of my pocket. I have no idea why I took it out of my pocket, but I took it out of my pocket before I came outside, and yeah. Trying to remember why I put a knife in my pocket. Oh, look at that. I got lucky. I'm gonna walk over here, guys, since I'm getting bombarded with ducks. And this is over here, so I don't get bombarded so bad. It's a crazy, crazy duck circus over there. Crazy duck circus. So let's get to the feed. So, oh, Ronnie, you are 100% correct. I absolutely agree with you. I took it out of my pocket because I was sitting down, and because I initially thought I was coming outside to work on something, and then I put it in my pocket thinking I was coming outside, and then I took it out of my pocket to sit down, and I should have just, I shouldn't have sat down. That's the lesson. So that's the lesson I've learned today, is I should not have sat down, because then I would have not taken it out of my pocket. Because I usually, in my overalls, I usually keep a knife right here, and I was changing up what I was wearing, and so I didn't have the knife right there in the pocket, and so just silly me. So I agree. Again, we all make, well, you guys watch regularly, we all make silly mistakes, always do silly things. It's very easy. It's very easy. Very easy to do all of that stuff, so. So it's interesting, guys. So it'll be interesting to see how the feed works out So the feed place was actually out of what I normally mix. So most of you guys know when I do a mix of feed, I usually do half laying mesh, and I usually mix in some seeds and some rooster mix and such like that. But the feed place, this particular cycle, was completely out of the seeds. And I've got some chickens. I have some chickens that are just really, really picky about what they eat. So we got a couple guys that are going to be mad for a week or so that they don't have their favorite food. Some of you might wonder, but Doc, why do you mix a feed? Why don't you just buy the store-bought feed or things of that sort? And what I found is, especially with the fact that I have so many laying hens and that I have roosters and all the other kind of stuff, what I found is the seeds actually, if I feed them regular seeds, especially stuff with sunflower seeds in the winter and such like that, it keeps the egg production, it keeps the eggs nice and firm so they don't break. It also keeps the roosters with a nice comb. They don't get as much of their combs don't freeze as much. Because sometimes if you have a rooster, you'll see where they'll get on their combs, they'll get little black tips. If you see, let me see if I can. So he doesn't particularly have it, but so sometimes on their comb, so you can see there's like a little damage here and here. So with the rooster, sometimes if they get too cold, what'll happen is their combs up here will get frostbitten, damaged, and then they'll fall off. And this is what the roosters use to keep cool in the summertime. It's also the larger the comb for the rooster. This also shows a level of dominance for these guys. So what I've learned though is if they have proper diets and they have plenty of protein and things that add to that, they don't have as much of the comb frost over. Another interesting side note, I don't know if any of you guys have ever had knee surgery and they've injected things into your knees, like a protein into your knees to help your knees function better. What they actually do is they actually extract that from the comb and the gobbles of the chicken, and this is what they inject into your knees to reduce some of that knee issue. So nice looking. And you guys know, as I told you guys before, I make sure I can handle every one of my roosters, because I like to keep multiple roosters. If you guys see, there's another rooster in the feed container. So just to show you that you actually can keep multiple roosters in the same bin living together. You have to be the head rooster, so whenever you come in, they have to know that you're the one in charge and that you're the one that's going to deal with everything. So, and if you're new having roosters and you want to know the quick little trick on how to make sure a rooster always knows that you're in charge, as soon as a rooster's young, you want to do this. You want to grab their face, you want to grab their comb, and you want to gently move their comb around. You want to grab their gobbles, you want to move their gobbles around, you want to grab their beak. But what this is doing is this is showing that you're the head. That they can't, he can't flog me, he can't fight me, there's nothing he can do, so he's losing. So he's just giving. And so is my headphones, by the way. They're just turning off and giving up. So that's one of the tricks. That's why colloquial I'm known as the master of cocks, because I'm a chicken whisperer. Actually, I absolutely love chickens. You can find me one of the meanest roosters that you will ever come across, and you give me a couple days with that rooster, and I will calm him down so that he won't flog you, and that you can turn him into a very calm, just chill rooster. I've only met one rooster, and I have raised lots of roosters in my life. I have only ever met one rooster that I have not been able to calm down, and that was one of my first roosters, and his name was Buttercup. And he just never accepted as being as me not being the head rooster. It's a weird thing. So I will admit, I did not know. That was one of the first roosters I had. I did not know all the tricks. I did not know all the tricks at the time, and so I probably will never raise another. I'll probably never raise another chicken in that way, where they ever get the upper hand. But like I said, I've rescued chickens, and I've rescued roosters before, and been able to do with them. Yes, Terry, we know that you would turn a mean rooster into a stew, and that is okay. So, I'm going to show you guys. We showed you a little bit earlier today. I showed you the silicone bowls. I showed you the rubber bowls. And the silicone bowls were the other attempt to try to do something else. So these are the reason, because it's cold. Watch out, duck. These are the reason it gets cold and the reason it freezes. That's the reason we ended up moving to these. So you guys can see I'm slowly popping out. And so you can see that this freezes, and then you empty this. You put some fresh water in, so let me get some fresh water. And this makes, instead of using one of these, where it cracks and breaks, because I have so many smaller cages, this seems to be the best tactic that we have found so far, at least until we can find some good rubberized bowls that are of the quality that we need them to be. Okay. Okay, I did not give those guys in the bottom food. So I am looking at, as much as I love winter, and you guys know that I love winter, but as much as I love winter, I'm absolutely, the last couple days I've been thinking about some of the spring projects that I really, really want to get into. And so just really been racking my brain thinking about some of the cool stuff I'd like to do this spring. And some stuff that, you need the nice weather, you need to be able to be outside, you just need to be able to have all that to be able to get and do, so. Okay, let's go through. Thanks, duck. Let's go through and freshen up the water to these guys, and then we'll start on the other side of the barn over there. I think I mentioned it in another stream, and one day when we got some more time, we're just gonna walk around the lab and do some stuff. Bunny Fluff 999, thanks for the follow. We're gonna walk around the lab. We're gonna check out some stuff, and then I'm gonna get some feedback on what you guys think we need to be adding to the lab. So for those that don't know, I live on 33 acres here in Flat Top. I run a permaculture lab. I teach basic gardening, simple farming, off-grid stuff. Just as I get more people interested, we focus on a variety of other things. Again, I start very basic. Some people, most people that know how to farm don't need help. So the folks that need to know farm absolutely know very little, and so we start off with the very basics, the stuff that seems like it's kindergarten for most people. It's vitally important to get your fundamentals right, to understand how to start. So that's what we do. But here on the lab, so I got the 33 acres. We raise some cattle on part of it. We have some woods. I've got some streams, some ponds. I have a hay field. But we hyper intense on 1 acre. So I have a 1 acre which we call the lab. And on this 1 acre, which used to be hay field, I've planted every tree that's on the lab. And right now on this 1 acre, I think there's 5,000 trees. So every tree that's on that lab I planted. The pond I dug. The buildings I built. The fences I put in. It used to be a hay field. And the reason for all of that is to show that it can be done. that everything we do here on the lab. But to a lot of you guys out there, the idea is I want to be able to see what you guys think we need to do. Hi, Lisa. I want to see what you guys think we need to do. So we've had bees, we have the bunnies, we have the fence, we saw what Sylvia does, we've dug the swells, we have the different types of barns. We're going to be building a greenhouse. We're putting in, Lisa's going to use her campfire skills, and we're going to put in a campfire, more of a campfire spot. But there's other things that you guys want. Some of you guys think better than I do, think in different directions. So we're going to take some aerial pictures, we're going to take some pictures, we're going to see what you guys come up with. And we're going to try to incorporate some of those ideas into what we plan on doing. So that water is frozen. So let's get to this guy. Let's get this water over here. So again, guys, like I said, the reason that these work so good is you can break them, and then you can get the ice out. Out, give them some fresh. So I won't, Lisa. I'll make sure I give Ducky a hug. For those that don't know, Lisa talking about Ducky, and you might see her when she's out feeding the chickens and such. So Ducky was one of our Muscovy chickens. You guys can see that there's a hayloft in the distance, back over there. Hold on, I screwed up this cage. You can see that there's a hayloft in the distance. And so up in that hayloft, when the hay used to go all the way to the top, we had a duck that lived up there and had babies. One day, one of the ducklings jumped off and was running around the barn, and we noticed the duckling had a clubbed foot. And so that was a duck we gave some extra special attention to. Ducky is, let's see if we can go. Ducky is right there. So you guys can see he's got a little bit of a limp, but he actually gets around just fine. He's adapted just fine. Caper999, thanks for the follow. And he's adapted just fine to where we live, even though you know, the barn is full of things. I also want to make it clear, some of you guys might not know this. Some of you guys think that you might only need, I just want to show you guys, see that most of those are boy ducks. Actually, there is not a girl duck currently in view. And the reason I point that out is because while they do have little scuffles, you can raise multiple male ducks together, and you don't got to worry. It's not as crazy as chickens, which again, though, you know, we have multiple chickens living together in the barn as well. It's all about your proper management. It's about figuring out the best way that you can to manage your animals and to balance out how they live. So let's get these guys some water. Fail. My hands are cold and I am dropping everything today. So it is 32. It's 32 in the barn right now. That's why you're seeing me having to pick everything up from freezing. Come on, guys, don't knock it over. Don't knock it over. Yay, they didn't knock it over. So one of the key things in the winter, and I probably mentioned this, but I do want to keep reminding everyone, one of the key things in the winter is always make sure that your birds and your animals all have access somewhere to fresh, non-frozen water. So it's actually more important. That's actually more important than feed. And the reason is because you know, people don't realize, but when you see breath leaving, when you see the moisture leaving your breath, you're actually losing moisture. And so in the winter time is one of the easiest times to get dehydrated. Okay, so we have gonna have to come back and address that in a minute, because those bottom ones right there are very frozen. Frozen in ways that are going to take a little bit longer than what I currently am doing to address. And I want to get around and get all these guys want to get around and make sure everybody else has got some good, fresh, ready to go water, because hope you guys can see that's pretty fun. Here, I'll show you guys. It's pretty cool. If you guys haven't seen it, watch. Okay, I guess I ran out of water. That was fun while it lasted. Okay. So some of you might be wondering, why are not all my animals free range? What, like, Doc, why do you have some of your animals out? Why do I see on the ground a handful of birds, and why do you have some tucked away in cages? So partly it's bantams I usually keep in cages. The reason is bantams are a lot more vulnerable to outside pressure. So they're more vulnerable to the weather. They're more vulnerable to the aerial predators. They're more vulnerable to the terrestrial predators. So even with setting up the lab out back to be as friendly for all the animals to have hiding spaces. So that's why we have all the trees. That's why I've got nooks. That's where the animals, when they see hawks and such, they can run in. It's why I keep a perimeter fence. But along with that perimeter fence, I also keep it so that plants and such grow up around the perimeter fence and such like that. Even with all of that, bantams are, because they're a smaller bird, and a lot of the bantams that we have are silkies, and they can't necessarily fly, that makes them more vulnerable. And so for those guys, we view it as our responsibility to make sure that we keep those guys as safe as possible. And so what does that mean? That means that we have to keep them in enclosures. Now, every cage that you see, so all of these cages over here that Lisa built, so you can see Lisa's fine handiwork, all these cages over here that Lisa built, they all don't have bottoms, and so we use them as chicken tractors in the summer months. So all these cages can be taken outside, and we can move them around the lab and around the yard to mow the grass, and so they can get protected free range. So okay, we're gonna change up the view so you guys can see something a little different. We're gonna move you, and you guys can sit right here. Let's say perfect. So, kind of a rooster. He's gonna come up and say hi. This guy. My hands are cold, and so it's cheating. I can warm up my hands with their combs. They don't really like it. It's not their favorite. You know, it's like putting cold hands on people. But that's what he gets for deciding to come up here and try to eat and steal all the food. So. So what you hear is I'm using this bowl. This bowl's got ice in it. I'm trying to get all the ice out. This is why I don't like these bowls. Look, I can't squish that like the other one, but these ones are a little bit more sturdy than some of the other ones, so we are better. It is better than those other. It's better than some of those other ones that we have, like that one you guys saw, the hockey puck that you guys saw in the bunny apartments outside. Alas, we will need another thing today. So, you know, Dimatra, you were probably right. It is probably what I'm doing. It's probably like him eating a whole bunch of ice cream and getting a brain freeze. I didn't think about it like that. That's a good one. So, Because I know how cold my hands are, so I can just imagine that he doesn't like that, because it's probably just as cold for him. But you know, it's all about building a relationship and a bond with your animals. Ow. Okay. One more cage I need to get, and then all of the bunnies are fed. Or I mean, all the bunnies, all of the chickens I have are fed, and then we'll switch over into going after the bunnies and getting them fed as well. Where is the bunny scooper? It is up here. So the extreme cold weather, Ronnie, does slow down my egg production. Part of the reason we put up Christmas lights, and those lights are on timers. Part of the reason we do Christmas lights and such like that, it does add in that twilight. But when you get the really cold, when it drops below like 40 in the barn, the egg production slows down quite a bit. But if I can keep the barn somewhere above 45, if I can keep the barn somewhere above 45, the egg production comes right back. The other reason the egg production is a little slower right now is I have a lot of older birds. We're gonna be crossing over and spending more time on free ranging the larger breeds, and not so much some of the smaller ones. Now, of course, we're gonna be keeping our silkies. We're gonna be keeping our Old English. Those are two types of birds that we really enjoy keeping. But a lot of the other ones we're not going to purposely breed anymore. And as those guys fade away and we don't have to use their cages for chickens and such anymore, we'll be switching more over to more of the larger breeds. I started off with young Bantams and things on purpose. So Bantams actually have less of a food requirement, and you still get lots of good eggs. But now that I've built up my yard to the point where I can comfortably free range more often now, I don't have to worry so much about that with the predator pressure. That it's time to switch over to larger hens, because now that they can free range more often, the cost difference isn't as big as it was when it's not going to be as big as it was when I first started and didn't have as much and wasn't growing as many natural stuff for the chickens to eat when they free range and do that stuff. So it's cost effectiveness, plus some of these guys are getting older. So I think our oldest, who is our oldest guys? So I think we have a few guys in here now that are probably like 7 or 8 years old. And so those guys are, they're on their end of this journey, getting ready for the next one. And a couple years ago, we really cut down like how many guys we were allowing to hatch. Last year we did hatch a lot more silkies than we were planning on it. There was a hen had a secret silky stash. and because of that, we had a lot more baby silkies born than we planned on it. So, but we did have one of our old hens, and she was an old hen. We did have one of our old hens hatch and raise a baby, which proved that even hens that are not laying a whole lot can still be highly productive, because she was always a really good mom. But she would only have, like, one egg a month or so. But she finally had one, and we're just like, let's just see what happens. I've never let an old hen try to hatch an egg before. Let's see if it's fertile. Let's see where it goes. And it actually turned out really good. She raised it really well. Her name is let me see, I probably can't grab Timmy. Here, you can hear. So here's Timmy. This is the one we're talking about. This is the chicken that was raised by the really old hen. So her name's Timmy. We let our nephew name him, or her. So there you go, Timmy. So Timmy needs some water. I just knocked it over. So. Okay. Get Timmy some water. Ooh, my phone says it's running low on battery now. It's only been an hour. Interesting. It's probably because it's so cold. I don't know if you guys know this, but your cell phones don't last as long, especially if you're doing something highly productive on them. They don't last quite as long in the winter months. The batteries tend to the battery charge tends to go quicker. So we're gonna finish up this, and since I do have to go back in and get water, I'll just switch over. I'll just take the phone in and put it on charge once I get to that stage. Plus my hands are a little cold, so it is going to be a good time to go in and do a quick little warm up and get that. But by the way, guys, if you're new to following me, which I see some of you are, we do this randomly during the week. I can't say that there's a set schedule. As the weather gets better, we also do classes on here about, having bees. Bees are probably my favorite. Bees are probably my favorite thing to talk about. I show you guys how absolutely safe it is to have bees, and how everybody, if you have the space to have bees. A lot of you know about the porch bees. A lot of you know about the lounge bees. And if you don't know about the porch bees or the lounge bees, I'll give you a quick thing. Well, my porch bees is I keep bees right by my front door on the front porch to show you how safe they are. I also have lounge bees. What are lounge bees? So, winter gets cold. The beehive was really weak. I didn't want to keep it outside because I didn't think it would survive. So I took that hive, and it is in my game room. It is in my room above my TV and such, and it lives up there. So yes, it's closed off, so rarely do they get out. But I do keep bees inside my house. And knock on wood, so far I have yet to be stung by those bees that are in my house, in my living room, or in my main room. But I do want to let you guys know that is actually how safe it is. Honeybees are not as dangerous. They're not as aggressive. They're not something that you should be afraid of, scared of, or thinking absolutely negative, bad thoughts about. Okay, so we're gonna walk back to the house so I can grab another jug of water, because I still have a couple guys left in here to get some water too. Plus I have to finish out the bunny barn. But other than that, we got the bunny apartments, we got the handy run, we got most everybody in here is good. So I just have just reminding myself, that's why we're doing this, just have those guys over there dealing with need a little bit of water, and then the bunnies and that kind of stuff. So let me grab it, and let's head on out. and we will head back. We will head back to the house. Ugh. So I'm curious, for those that watch this fairly regularly, I'm curious what you guys did. Are you okay with the auto quality? Do you like it better? Am I louder? Is this more enjoyable to hear my crisp, clean voice, or the way I used to do it with just talking to the phone? If you guys were okay with that as well. So just trying to, interesting in your feedbacks. By the way, guys, I know you guys like to look at the sky, so let's do a quick little view of the sky. Kind of overcast, beautiful, lovely, wonderful sky. So you guys can see the sun is already down over the mountain. So you can see the right there, the horizon is it's probably not. Oh yeah, I don't have my red glasses on, so it's as nice as it looks. So so anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this fun adventure today. It was a good time hanging out with you. Thank you guys for joining me. Look forward to seeing you guys again later. Like I said, if you're not following me on Discord, it's !Discord. You guys can join the Discord. We're usually there chit-chatting, talking about a bunch of stuff, sharing all the information. We talk about a lot of fun, silly things on there. And if you're watching this on Facebook and you'd like to catch a replay or something, you can find me on DLive or Twitch. DLive and Twitch, I'm Dr. Firefly. And on YouTube, it's easiest way is just type in Mavis Manor 1897, and you can find me that way. So, anyways, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I'll see you guys later. It's Doc. Adios.